Hi, this is Lehman, and I'm going to show you a little more about astrolabes in this next segment. And you'll see here we have a new astrolabe that we weren't talking about last time, and here's our measurement. And so this is actually about 4.5 inches as opposed to the big guy, which you see in the background, and of course the little keyring that we've been dealing with. This astrolabe, which is kind of like let's call this the handheld astrolabe, because this is really like a very easy astrolabe to work with in your hand. This astrolabe is a design that was done for London, and so this has a higher latitude base than the one in the background, the one for about 40.4 north latitude. So this is in the 50s. So now here's the difference. We talked about the reed plates on the back, this back section of the astrolabe. And you'll see again, this is even more compressed. Here I think I have this is the plate for 40, and this is an astrolabe of similar size. And you'll notice on the plate that this design pattern on the left is much less compact than the same design you can kind of see in the background on the right. By the way, this little point on here that's in the middle that has nothing is actually a projection of the North Pole, because that's also part of the projection. This is a view of the sky. Now, this astrolabe, no two astrolabes are, if they're done historically, are exactly alike. The theory, of course, the projection of the plate should be the same because that's an astronomical phenomenon. But the way that they set them up wasn't always identical. Now, this one shares with our big brother here, having the calendar set into the reed plate, which again is something you can do with one of the larger astrolabes, even if this isn't as large. Now, this astrolabe also on its back features the calendar around the edge, just as our little guy has the calendar around the edge. And you see the similarity between the construction of the two astrolabes. Okay, well, when I did the same calculation for December 26th, at 11 a.m., but this time for London time. Now the ascendant line that I was talking about, and I said it's a little confusing when you first think about it, but there are all these different lines for the house cusps, but not all of them can cut this zodiac wheel, because the question for finding a house cusp is always where a line cuts this wheel. Now here you'll see actually two interlocking wheels. This one, the one I'm pointing to right now, has the zodiac on it, and it's very easy when you've got it in your hand, you can see that zodiac. This other one is actually a wheel of fixed stars, because both here and these little points here on the big guy over here are actually pointing to fixed stars, because you could use this to tell time at night by looking at the fixed stars. Well, like these other astrolabes that we looked at in the last section, there are Roman numerals out here to represent the hours of the day. And remember, it's at the top at it's midnight, 6 a.m., noon, and 6 p.m. And we talked about the fact that this is actually in LMT. Well, again, London is pretty much on the meridian, so we don't have to do too much in terms of adjustment there. On this astrolabe, where that ascendant line gets cut, this line here, is actually over on this side of the wheel. And I said this before, and it may have been a little hard to understand or see, but while you have all the lines down here, all the 12 lines, this zodiac wheel only occupies a smaller portion of the area of the entire base. So not every one of those 12 lines actually can even cut that zodiac wheel, depending on what day of the year it is and what time and so forth. So it's where that line will cut that gives you the answer. So in this case, even though we're looking at a difference between about 13 Pisces and 4 Pisces on the ascendant, it happens that that puts that cut over on this side. And this is what I was trying to say, is it doesn't matter which side of the line. You just need to see on your astrolabe where that line occurs so that you can look to see, is it hitting on the left side or the right side? How does that work? And that's how you'll read the astrolabe, either on the left or the right side, because the important thing is cutting the line. Now, down here, you'll see this is actually a line for the third the third house cusp, and it cuts. You can see that you're going to have to go in to see whether it cuts the line at all. And this is how they all work, is you're looking to see where on the line it hits with this zodiac wheel. That's how you get the house cusps. Once you get used to doing it, it's a fairly simple operation. It's just because we don't work with it this way, it's a rather foreign process to us until we get a chance to do a few examples.